Imagine this, you enter the airport in a hurry, your suitcase half closed and your mind on 1,000 things. But suddenly, as you pass through security, you're greeted by a store with perfumes shining under soft lights, winding aisles, and scents that stop you for a moment. It's no coincidence, you're inside one of the most meticulously designed areas on the planet. In this video, I'll tell you 6 airport secrets that airlines don't tell you, so that the next time you travel, you'll know everything and won't fall into some traps. Let's begin. Secret number 1. Everything is designed for you to buy more and not notice it. Airports are deliberately constructed so that you make decisions without thinking too much. What seems like a normal route is actually a psychological maze designed by human behavior experts. The duty-free shop, duty-free, is not where it is by chance. It's mandatory to pass through it in most international airports. And it's not a store, it's a trap with Chanel fragrance and deals that are never really deals. The path to your waiting area is never straight. The routes are designed to maximize your exposure to display windows. Even the direction in which you walk is often designed to follow the natural flow of your visual field. Dominant hemisphere. Most people are right-handed and walk more attentively to the right. Additionally, luggage carts are deliberately awkward to maneuver on certain floors, so you spend more time in front of certain products. And clocks are scarce. Very few airports have visible clocks. Why? Because if you don't know what time it is, your sense of urgency diminishes. It fades away. And when that happens, you buy more. And that pleasant aroma when you enter a chocolate shop? It doesn't come from the chocolate. It comes from a hidden machine that releases that scent to trigger childhood memories and spark an emotional impulse, the one to reward yourself. Yes, all of this is measured. And while you're just looking to kill time before boarding, someone else is studying your every move. But if you think that's already too much, wait to discover what happens when you can't see the sky. Secret number 12. Secret language of the staff. And how they can make you pass as suspicious without you knowing it. There is a hidden language within every airport. It's not in the loudspeaker announcements or on the emergency signs. It's in the codes that employees use when they detect unusual behavior. And you could be one of them, without even noticing it. Have you ever heard your full name being called when you're near a boarding gate? It could simply be a reminder or a way to observe your reaction. If you get nervous, if you look around, if you sweat, you might have already triggered an alert signal. In some countries, security staff and airlines use keywords that don't mean what they seem. For example, Code Bravo might refer to a potentially suspicious person, without that person knowing. There are even codes for when someone is crying, arguing, or simply walking too fast. Everything is recorded. Cameras with artificial intelligence detect behavior patterns. If you suddenly change direction, if you check your passport many times, if you frequently look at the police, or if you avoid contact. Visually, there's already a system evaluating you, and if an employee suddenly offers you help or asks to see your boarding pass, out of context, they might not be doing it out of courtesy. Maybe they're doing it to buy time, while someone else decides if they should hold you for an extra check. But there's something even more disturbing. The system can make mistakes. Yes, there have been documented cases of perfectly innocent passengers who were detained just because their behavior matched a risk profile generated by an algorithm. And that profile can include things as simple as traveling alone, without luggage, and paying in states. Cash. The airport watches you much more than you watch it. Secret number 3. The myth of overbooking and how they play with the odds. Imagine you arrive on time. Your boarding pass in hand and without prior notice, they tell you the flight is full and you can't board. Has it happened to you? Welcome to the world of overbooking. A legal, systematic, and for many, unfair strategy. What few people know is that airlines sell more tickets than the seats they actually have. Not by mistake, but by calculation. They know, thanks to years of statistics, that a percentage of passengers always miss their flight. So they sell more seats than there are, trusting that some won't show up. It's like inviting 120 people to a party, knowing only 100 can fit, hoping that 20 will change their minds or arrive late. But if that day all the passengers show up, there's a problem. And you could be the one sacrificed. How do they choose who to leave out? There are many factors. If you bought a cheap ticket, if you didn't check in online, if you're traveling alone, if you don't have frequent flyer status, your chances of being bumped increase. The ironic part, overbooking is not only legal in many countries, but it's also budgeted for. It's cheaper for the airline to pay compensation than to leave a flight unfilled. And if they ever offer you money to voluntarily give up your seat, it's not an act of goodwill. It's a corporate lifeline. And what happens to your luggage if you're bumped off? That's where the next secret comes in. Secret number 4. What it really is. What really happens to your suitcase when it disappears. When you drop off your suitcase at the counter, you see it go on a conveyor belt and trust as an act of faith that it will arrive with you at the destination. But the truth is, behind the scenes, it enters a chaotic, automated world. and often inhumane. The suitcases go through sensors, scanners, ramps, mechanical arms, and sometimes even manual inspection without you being told. If you travel with layovers, your suitcase can be automatically transferred between several flights. And this is where errors abound. One of the biggest enemies of luggage is the quality factor, human factor, and haste. When there are delays or last-minute gate changes, the suitcases don't always manage to follow you. If the connection is short, it's likely that you run and your suitcase doesn't. But there's more. Some suitcases get lost because they weren't tagged correctly or because someone on the ground decided to leave some out to balance the plane's weight. Yes, suitcases don't always fly due to lack of space, or due to cargo security issues, and you will never know. In many airports, suitcases that are not claimed after several months are sold at private auctions without notifying you. There are companies that make a living from this. They buy abandoned luggage in bulk, open it, and sell what they find. Your clothes, your books, your camera, all in the hands of a stranger for a reason that no one explained to you. And the saddest part is, if you don't have luggage insurance, the airline will pay you a standardized compensation that often doesn't even cover half of what was lost. While you're walking buying a plane, you won't get lost. Perfumes, your suitcase could be lost, forgotten in a basement. Secret number 5. Flight fares vary according to your searches and location. Have you noticed that sometimes you check the price of a flight and when you look again, it's more expensive? It's not your imagination. It's not bad luck either. It's a carefully calculated strategy based on your own data. Every time you search for flights online, you're leaving a trail. Cookies, history, location, type of device, and even. All of that is used to build a consumer profile. And based on that profile, prices can vary. For example, if you search for flights from an iPhone, you're more likely to see slightly higher prices than if you search from a desktop computer. Why? Because certain algorithms assume you have a higher spending capacity. If you browse in incognito mode, you might see lower prices. If you do it repeatedly from the same IP, they might go up. No, dynamic pricing psychology. And not just that. Some airlines store more than desktop searches, your previous searches. If they detect that you're very interested in a specific destination, for example, you check that flight 3 times this week, they might artificially raise the price to create anxiety and pressure. Buy now before it goes up again. Even location influences it. If you're in a high-income country, you'll see higher prices for the same flight than someone searching from another country. It's a kind of invisible auction where you don't know you're bidding. And while you think you're looking for the best deal, the system is finding the best way to squeeze you without you noticing. Secret number 6. Some security measures are more theater than effective. Remember the last time you went through security check? They made you take out your laptop, throw away your water bottle, take off your shoes. They even made you open your suitcase for a jar of cream. But did you know that many of those measures don't have solid scientific backing? And that, in many cases, they are maintained more for appearance than for effectiveness. This has a name: security theater. It's a concept coined by aviation experts to describe practices that don't necessarily make flying safe, but are implemented to reassure the public, to make you feel like something is being done. For example, after the attempted shoe bomber attack in 2001, several countries implemented the requirement to remove shoes at security checkpoints, but later studies showed that shoe scanning does not significantly improve threat detection. If the airport already has modern X-ray machines, and what about water bottles? The ban on liquids over 100 milliliters was a reaction to a foiled plot in 2006. Since then, advances in scanner technology could allow for safe liquid screening, but the regulation remains. Because changing protocols worldwide is costly and slow, and because psychologically, asking you to throw something away reminds you that the danger exists and that the airport is taking care of you. The problem is that this theater comes with a cost, time, inconvenience, and a false sense of security. While you're taking off your shoes, a riskier object might be passing through another way, not due to negligence, but because the system is not infallible. And without considering the training of security agents is important. It varies drastically between countries. In some airports, they can detect a prohibited item in seconds. In others, they wouldn't notice even if you were carrying a sign. Airports are modern temples. Temples of consumption, control, and the illusion of freedom. You walk among showcases believing you are making choices, but behind every sign, every hallway, every advertisement, there is an algorithm, a strategy, a purpose. The next time you're in one, look beyond the screens. Pay attention to what they don't show you, to what seems normal but isn't, because now you know. Airports are not made for traveling. They are made to retain you, control you, and charge you.